The pen trembled in his hand, its weight feeling heavier than it ever had before. Jake stared at the blank sheet of paper in front of him, its emptiness mocking him. The quiet of his small apartment pressed against his ears like a vacuum, broken only by the rhythmic ticking of the clock on the wall. Tick, tock. The words wouldn't come at first. What was there to say? How could he explain a lifetime of pain in a few sentences? How could he make them understand when no one ever really had? He pressed the pen to the paper, exhaling shakily as ink bled into the fibers. Asterisk to whoever finds this. Asterisk, he wrote. Then he stopped, his hand hovering over the page. The tears he'd been holding back began to fall, staining the paper with dark spots. He let them fall, uncaring. Asterisk, I'm sorry. I tried to hold on. I really did. But the weight of everything, it's too much. It always has been. Please don't blame yourselves. It's not anyone's fault. I'm tired. So tired. Asterisk, Jake's handwriting grew messier with each word as his hand began to shake. He set the pen down, his breath catching in his throat. The note wasn't perfect, but it didn't need to be. It was enough. He stood and walked to the window, pulling it open. The cold night air rushed in, biting at his skin. The world outside seemed indifferent to his agony. The distant hum of traffic and the occasional bark of a dog carrying on as though nothing was wrong. Jake reached into his pocket and pulled out the small bottle of pills he collected over the past month. He'd read somewhere that it would be painless this way, that he'd simply drift off to sleep. That was all he wanted. Rest. A break from the unrelenting ache in his chest. He poured the pills into his hand, their pale colors gleaming faintly in the moonlight. With a deep breath, he tipped them into his mouth and swallowed, chasing them with the glass of water he'd prepared earlier. Then he sat on the edge of his bed, his head in his hands, and waited. The first wave of dizziness hit him like a tide pulling him under. He lay back, his limbs growing heavy, his mind foggy. The clock ticked on, its sound blending with the rush of blood in his ears. His breath slowed, each one shallower than the last. As the darkness crept in, a thought crossed his fading mind. Asterisk, maybe tomorrow would have been better. Asterisk. But it was too late. The note sat on the table, the ink still drying. As the quiet returned to the room,